Welcome to FitByFood, where we outsmart binge eating without restriction. In this video, I will talk about willpower and why willpower is a limited resource. This can be shown in studies. There's a study where they had a control group and gave them an option to eat a plate of radishes or cookies. They were told not to eat the cookies, but they could eat radishes. They could see in the study that the people who were faced with a cookie radish question gave up a lot quicker when they were told afterwards to solve a puzzle. Their willpower, their patience ran out quicker than the groups that did not have this dilemma. And this is very interesting. So we know that it's a power that we have, a control of ourselves that we have. We have access to it, but in a limited amount. We can also see this when it comes to using willpower to not eat something. We can go on an entire day and say, okay, we're not eating this, we're not eating that, and try to limit our calorie intake. But when the afternoon comes or evening comes, it's much harder not to give in. This is the same example, the same situation. So the willpower has been used up. To put this in the framework of the FitByFood world, I've done 2 videos now where I talk about dissociation. And dissociation is key to understand because it explains why we have difficulty in aligning ourselves with our vision. Because we realize we do have different types and different sides in our psyche that combat each other. We're not on the same page, because if we were, we would not have this problem. So it's kind of obvious if we think about it, but also it's not super obvious because we like to think that we are one whole being, and of course we are, literally, but we do have different kind of like sub-personality types. And it's good to have the understanding of how complex we are as humans. For example, you have this strict inner parent, the strict inner critic that tells you should do this, you should do that. It's very perfectionistic and has this ideal of how you should be. And then you have this fun-loving side that's carefree and just wants to explore and indulge in life. These 2 sides, if you have both of them in you, they are the opposites of each other. And if you have both, which one do you listen to the most? Do you try to listen to them both? And if you have them both, how can they coexist? Willpower in this situation is that you focus on one of them. And you really try. Try to just listen to the voice that tells you to be perfect, just do this and do that. Eventually, the willpower goes down. You used up your resource. Then it's much easier for another part inside you to take over. I would like to put this in a psychological context to make it a bit more simple. Because we can see in the study that this happens, that the person that had the radish in front of them and said it's okay to eat that, but we have the cookies. You have these 2 conflicting sides coming up. You have the wanting to be healthy, wanting to be disciplined, controlled, take responsible actions. That one is okay, like that one focuses on the radishes. But then you have that side that looks at the cookies and thinks, cookies are so nice, they make me feel so happy. So it's like your inner child, like correlating cookies and sweet stuff with just happiness. And if you try to push down that voice, that urge, and just focus on the other side, it's kind of like this imbalanced battle that happens. And it sounds very abstract, but we kind of need to keep this 2 in check. We kind of need to keep the harmony inside. So what I would say to this situation and why FitByFood is so perfect is that we include all of it. We include the loving, indulging inner child that wants cookies and wants to indulge and have fun and eat everything and be happy and carefree. And we include the more strict inner critic perfectionistic voice when we put the framework of the new diet on top of how we approach food. So we get the structure that the inner parent, the inner strict kind of parent voice inside needs. Like, we have these foods that we're eating, and you can indulge. You can eat good stuff, you can eat tasty stuff, you can snack whenever you want. So you kind of keep the balance. And this is like the fundamental thing with FitByFood. We include everything. We include the softness, the patience, the forgiving diet. So we don't have this big contrast of, because we in this experiment it's very interesting choice of things to choose from, because obviously a radish is not super tasty, it's very bitter in taste, but it might represent the healthier, the idea of the healthy mindset for a responsible version of ourselves. And then cookies is the like the picture of like sweetness and just like indulge food. So it doesn't have to be that harsh. We don't have to do such a big extreme. We have still things that are as indulging as the cookies, but it's a bit more responsible because it's high carb, low fat, plant based, and that's what I preach here. Bottom line, what we are doing is that we don't let the willpower, like imagine a bar here, like a bar of like Sims for example, and you have the level going down every time you try to control your instincts and urges and impulses. And when it goes down and you feel like I want more fun, so the fun bar here and the discipline bar here, like if that one goes down with willpower when we try to focus on something healthy, and the fun bar goes down as well, then it's going to be very unbalanced. If the discipline bar goes down and the fun bar goes down, eventually you will get into the victim archetype and want to indulge and self-sabotage because you feel like I don't get to have anything fun, and it kind of like kicks in this like child rebelling against the strictness. And then what we do at FitByFood is that we don't use up the willpower bar. The only willpower we do is focus on specific food items. That's the only thing. But inside the framework of the diet, you eat whatever you want, and you get that fun bar goes up and up because you can eat whatever you want in the framework of the diet. So you don't ever get depleted on willpower. It's not the main resource that we use. It's just the framework. So we use a little of the willpower, but not that much. It's never about restricting calories here. Quite the opposite. You can think of times where you've really been good and restricted your calories. Maybe you had something to look forward to. So you had like a trip or some like festive event. And then you really had the willpower kick in because you know the consequence and how happy you will be. But when that thing happens afterwards, you will have the biggest willpower hangover. Maybe the inner child goes rampage and eats whatever it can, and you gain all that weight back. This is a classic example of the willpower going down and the fun bar going down, and then boom, your inner child takes over. So we need to include them both here. We need to embrace both and balance them. Balance them so that you don't get that dissociative pattern taking over. So don't ever let that willpower bar go down or the fun bar, because that's not really what life is about. We want to be enjoying life and enjoying it in the right, sustainable way. So thank you for watching, and remember, it is possible to get fit by food.